Joshua Ronn was an English teacher in Japan who invited 10 and 12-year-olds to get naked with him and play with their, well, you get the message.
There's monsters here in human form. They abuse our trust.
And then Jeremy Brian Tacom, 51 years old, who lived at the same Palmer Woods address with Ronn. The FBI seized his phone that contained an exchange with an undercover agent, something like this. Wish we could find a kiddo and have our way.
Swallow us whole, then regurgitate ashes to feed their lust.
Some of these details are so sickening, so gross, they're hard to even repeat.
Yeah, in fact, I can't even say some of this stuff on television.
3 men walk into a bar: a doctor, an attorney, and a therapist. The attorney asks, "What does a monster look like?" The doctor and therapist said, "Big, scary, and evil." The attorney said, "Yes, exactly, like us." Unfortunately, this is not your typical 3 men walk into a bar joke, because sometimes true evil comes in the form of successful businessmen. Our breaking story today involves 3 prominent Detroit monsters in a mansion with very dark secrets. All men we're going to talk about today were gay men, but their interest was not in men. Their interest was in little children. So, as of now, all suspects are innocent until proven otherwise in the court of law. Before we begin, welcome to the Murder She Said, the place you hear true crime that is rarely heard on any other channel. My name is Holly. Can you help a Southern gal out and smash that subscribe button, like button, and leave a comment? That really helps me out. And because it's so big in this YouTube world, a girl like me just sometimes gets lost. Also, this case does involve crime against children, so if it might upset or trigger you, then I suggest not watching. On March 29, 2025, FBI agents went online with a single purpose: to catch a predator. For weeks, undercover officers have been communicating with a man they believe posed a serious danger. Behind a screen and username 34-year-old Brett Tumman believed he was speaking freely, unaware that law enforcement was quietly documenting every interaction. The conversations took place on Telegram, where Tumman sent deeply disturbing material and described violent fantasies involving children. The messages were alarming enough that agents knew this wasn't just talk. This was someone willing to act on these fantasies. The agents posed as parents of a 7-year-old girl and a 6-month-old baby. Videos he sent to the officers were of an adult man performing acts on little children. The very acts he said he would like to perform on their children. Eventually, a meeting was discussed so that Tumman would abuse what he thought was a 6-month-old little baby. Think about that. And a 7-year-old little girl. The meeting would take place in Toledo, Ohio. At first, Tumman hesitated. He agreed to meet once, then backed out at the last moment. Something spooked him. He later apologized to alleged parents and showed eagerness to attempt another meeting. When and where, bro? The FBI agent messaged. A new plan was then made. When Tumman arrived at the agreed-upon location, what he expected to find wasn't there. Instead, law enforcement moved in immediately, taking him into custody without incident. Authorities later stated that illegal drugs were allegedly found in his vehicle. After his arrest, Tumman reportedly admitted to investigators that he had been viewing and sharing illegal material involving children for several years. When asked how he ended up here, his response was simply, bad decisions. Little more than a bad decision. It makes you a monster. But Brett Tumman's arrest wasn't the end of this story. It was the beginning. Because his actions and the digital trail he left behind would help investigators uncover a much larger and darker network. One that reached into Detroit, involving individuals who believed their status and success made them untouchable. They were wrong. This brings us to a rich neighborhood in Detroit. Palmer Woods is considered one of the most wealthy, upscale, and historical neighborhoods in Detroit. A neighborhood so private that many lifelong Detroiters have never seen this hidden forest of mansions. The largest mansion in the area is called Bishop's Mansion. It has over 30,000 square feet making it Detroit's largest private mansion. And right next door to that mansion sits another mansion belonging to 4 men. 4 men who lived behind luxury walls in one of the richest neighborhoods in the city, a place built to keep the outside world out. Unfortunately for 2 of these men, the outside world was fixing to come crashing in because they had been communicated with Tumman through the same telegram app that the FBI had been using. After Tumman's phone and computers were confiscated, the FBI located these men through the messages that they had sent Tumman. 45-year-old Joshua Ronn co-owns this mansion with his partner who is a neurosurgeon in the Detroit area. This mansion is 5,398 square feet, 7 bedrooms, 5-bathroom mansion. Ronn and his husband bought the mansion in 2013 and launched an extensive renovation. The renovation was actually featured in Our Detroit in 2017. It's a magazine about Detroit. And it showed interior and exterior photos of the house, including the master bathroom. The magazine described the space featuring a rock star-worthy glass-enclosed shower that had marble on it, dual showers in the shower, full body sprays, a heated floor, and a huge heated seat. Investigators had seen this same shower on Tumman's phone. The man that sent these pictures inside this shower was none other than an attorney. Joshua Ronn was an attorney practicing environmental law and immigration law in Detroit. He had been licensed since at least 2014. Ronn had been considered a prominent local figure in Detroit. He was loved. He was trusted. He reportedly served on the Palmer Woods Association Board of Directors, a neighborhood organization in one of Detroit's most richest neighborhoods, as I told you. Just over a year ago, Pride Source interviewed Ronn for a feature about the neighborhood's annual holiday home tour, where he spoke about community values and historic preservation. In that same interview, Ronn described the Palmer Woods neighborhood as embodying a culture of openness. Lord of mercy, I don't think they knew what they were getting into when he said a culture of openness, because I don't think any neighborhood would be that open to the things that was happening inside this evil home. In the Our Detroit renovation tour, Joshua described the attic as a place where he liked to relax. And what's sick is that it was designed with their 3 nephews and 6 nieces in mind. The space included a trundle, bedded sleeping area as well as a living area. I mean, doesn't make you wonder what he might have done to those nieces and nephews? Disturbing. Neighbors have commented that they knew him through this boardrow, and some said they were not entirely surprised by the allegations. That makes me wonder how much the neighbors knew and why they hadn't already turned him into authorities if they knew, very much at all. Makes it sound like they knew that he was a predator. I bet he had kids over there, and they were like, something's up, but you think they would have said something. See something, say something. Don't be like the neighbors later on the news and say, well, I thought it was kind of weird over there. Be the person that says it before. So maybe less kids can be abused. Attorney Joshua had been sending messages and videos to Tumman since June of 2022. Joshua had even met up with Tumman in the past in order to do drugs, look at him, and then they would have sex with each other afterwards. Ugh. Also living in the same mansion was 51-year-old Jeremy Brian Tacon, along with his partner too. So there was the 4 men, the 2 men that we're discussing today, plus their partners. Jeremy, or Brian, I guess he likes to be called Brian, but I'm going to call him Jeremy. He was a licensed psychotherapist who worked at the Arbor Wellness Center. Jeremy was born in New Zealand. He was a flight attendant before pursuing a master's degree in clinical psychology and moving to Michigan in 2016. Jeremy had also communicated with Tumman through the Telegram app. Tumman and Jeremy would discuss their interests in children and share content between each other. In one message, Jeremy asked Tumman for more material involving children. Tumman texts back, "What you want to see, Pio?" After Jeremy told Tumman what he wanted, he then was sent at least a dozen sent videos. Tumman then responded, "Wish we could find a kiddo and have our way together." take him to a hotel and him. The message came from Jeremy read, F yes, brother. Both Jeremy and Joshua were arrested. Neither of the men's partners were arrested and have not been accused of anything. How do you live with two files and not know what was going on? And they were actually bringing children into the shower, according to the files. And you don't notice this? Joshua's husband partner, I don't know what he is. He is a neurosurgeon in town that hasn't been accused of anything. So I'm not going to say that they knew. I hope their partners didn't know, but kind of weird how you could not know when that's probably why those two came together. It's because they were both files. I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want to get in trouble on this video, but it's kind of strange. After Jeremy and Joshua were arrested, their home was searched, and that is how the third predator was located. During the search, authorities seized 38 media storage devices. Among those 38 devices, approximately 19 were identified as being possibly associated to Ronn due to being in areas of the home under his control, such as Ronn bedroom and office. An iPhone that was allegedly on the nightstand next to Ronn bed was also confiscated. The iPhone screen was reportedly on and was displaying a prompt asking if the user wanted to confirm they wanted to delete the Telegram app. Agents believe that when Ronn realized FBI agents were at his home, he attempted to delete Telegram from his phone prior to exiting his residence. Another iPhone found in his closet reportedly contained more than 150 images, meeting the federal definition of Sam, I'll just put it that way, including images of infants and toddlers being essayed.
The FBI seized his phone, which showed 155 images, including a toddler being molested by an adult man, and numerous conversations discussing his sexual interest in children.
To make me sick at my stomach, these grown-ass men doing this to little children. Text messages reportedly found on Ronn phone shows where he spoke about being an English teacher in Japan and abusing a 10-year-old and 12-year-old little boy. He allegedly shared this story with several of the people that we're talking about today, texting that the boys would come stay the night with him, and he said we would all get naked and play. The FBI also found Jeremy Bryan's phone in the home. When investigators dialed the number from the messages that had been sent to Tumman, Jeremy's phone rang, so they knew that was his phone. It was through Joshua Ronn phone that investigators uncovered our next name, a third predator. As digital evidence was examined and contacts were traced, one connection stood out, leading authorities directly to Dr. Lincoln Erickson. On paper, Erickson was everything society is conditioned to trust. He was a physical rehabilitation doctor, a graduate of Wayne State University, a man who worked with the Detroit Medical Center's Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan, an institution dedicated to healing, recovery, and care. Even more disturbing was how he was publicly celebrated. In an article published by Wayne State University, Erickson was praised for his knowledge of sign language. According to this piece in that magazine, that skill had once saved someone's life. It painted him as compassionate, attentive, and deeply committed to his patients. But behind the credentials, behind the praise, and behind the carefully constructed public image, investigators now saw something else entirely. In fact, he may be the most disturbing of all what I've read about him. He didn't like children over the age of 7. He preferred little bitty babies, toddlers. The messages found between Erickson and Ronn spoke about wanting to travel to Thailand and essay children together while they're there. And they had the money to do it, or as they hadn't. They may have, I don't know. On one text message, Erickson said, love being a pedo. Erickson reportedly shared a fantasy about having a relationship with another man where they would raise a child together that they would abuse and groom from baby to adulthood. He wanted to abuse his own child. Start them young, read one message. The FBI said Erickson reportedly shared in messages that he knows a father who allowed him to abuse his 3-year-old son. Erickson was arrested at the Detroit hospital where he worked. During the arrest, he reportedly admitted to receiving spam he believed was AI generated from a man in Chicago. In a search of Erickson's phone, a Telegram chat was found where he reportedly asked another man to share videos with him. He said, "Bro, I love other files." He allegedly told the man, "So hot." Erickson is currently on probation for a 2024 domestic violence case. During the December 16th federal court hearing, prosecutors described Erickson as having a history of domestic violence and threatening behavior. Court documents also allege he attempted to impregnate an adult woman whom the defense described as his best friend in order to abuse his own child after it was born. So I guess his plan was to impregnate this woman and maybe get with another man who enjoyed this kind of thing with him, and then they would both abuse his own little child. I told you, this guy is maybe the worst of the bunch. He's just a true monster. All of them are bad, but he was even into incest, apparently. During Erickson's hearing, prosecutors presented evidence of his alleged interactions with the father of 3 minors, including phone sex and in-person meetings, as well as disturbing messages regarding these children. All 4 of these men had graphic conversations about their interest in children and what they would like to do to these little children. Even so bad that you can't even talk about it on YouTube. It's just disturbing and sadistic. Fortunately, the FBI's operation wasn't just a one-off investigation. It was connected to a nationwide initiative targeting child predators. In fact, I saw today where they saved at least 20 children. They have been conducting these coordinated stings across the country in recent months, resulting in hundreds of arrests. And like I said, as many as 20 children or more have been saved from this. What makes this case so disturbing isn't just what was found. It was where it was found. In homes, in hospitals, in professions built on trust. These weren't men living on the fringes of society. They were lawyers, teachers, doctors, men who blended in, earned respect, and hid behind titles while exploiting the most vulnerable. This case is a reminder that monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like colleagues, neighbors, professionals. And the only way these crimes ever come to light was when the silence is broken. If something feels off, trust that instinct. If a child speaks up, believe them. Please believe them. And if you see something, say something. Because predators survive in secrecy. And justice only begins when the truth is exposed. All right, guys, I do love y'all. And I thank you for supporting me at The Murder She Shed. And of course, like I said, I'm not going to have another video till after Christmas. Probably I want to see y'all till next year, 2026. I can't believe it's 2026. That's crazy. Love y'all. Have a blessed Merry Christmas and Happy New Year if I don't see y'all. So you got candy in my tree? Not real candy, is it? It's not real candy. Nope, not real candy. I think Simon's wanting the button.
There's monsters here in human form. They abuse their trust. Swallow us whole, then regurgitate ashes to feed their lust. Monsters say they love us.